Oh, spooky, scary skeletons shoot come into your eyes. Spooky, scary skeletons will fuck you till you die. Yo, look at the default frame. I'm having gay sex with your mom and doing coke off your dad's dick. Yo, I'm feeling especially autistic. I keep trying to like wear the glasses that I bought in these videos, but I don't know where they are now. I thought I brought them in, but fucking apparently I didn't. Like, I'm starting a collection of orange aviators, and y'all have only seen them a couple of times. I feel a little weird about it, you know? Because that's, like, part of the reason I did it. But... Oh! I have some... Alright. These are just basically my Fear and Loathing cosplay glasses, but, it is better than nothing. Gotta keep the orange aviators going. Holy shit, I can't speak English, dog. And it's only like 30 seconds into the video, bro. 30 minutes. So I was at the beach and I took a bunch of mushrooms. It was a lot of fun. I ended up crying for a minute, but that didn't last as long as it normally does when I macrodose. Because like when I macrodose, it's usually for like mental health reasons, right? Because I'm lost. I need to know what to do, so that's why I did it. I ended up talking a lot about like there being an individual, like there being a god, right? And not necessarily in, well, I guess technically in the traditional religious sense, but like banning all religions and like reinforcing faith. And then I sat there and like thought in my life for like 45 minutes, and then like 2 in the morning, I laid on the beach, like right next to the waves, like fucking full angeled out. And I was there with my homie, and I was like, bro, and he was worried about cops, right? So, and he was worried about cops. So when we were going down to like the beach area in front of the waves, and I was like, dog, just bury it underneath flash the beach chairs and bury it underneath there, so that way we know where they're at. He did bury them, but he buried them in the middle of the sand. So when I came back, I stepped on the bag, and apparently it got lost, and he couldn't find them. So we lost. It wasn't a lot. It was just like one big mushroom at that point that we had most of. So it wasn't like it was a big deal. I didn't trip, but I did lose them. I think medical mushrooms are actually so fucking good, and people just don't appreciate it. It really can help you like talk to yourself. That's what I talk to your subconscious and like deal with things you want to be able to normally. That's what I do, right? Microdosing, that's fun. I'm going out to hang out with the boys. I don't want like depression hitting me in the middle of it. Then sure, like a microdose. But if I'm taking enough to like trip, it's so I can like figure myself out, and it's worked really well for me. One time the first time I did it medically, I took like 6 grams, and then I ended up talking to my subconscious, who was like a bar woman, like smoking a cigarette. I can't remember the exact words, but it like left me with a lot of ideologies that I stay with to this day that have helped me to do better. So, yeah, if you're going through a hard time and you feel like you've exhausted a lot of other options, try medical mushrooms, you know. But do it with somebody trusted. If you do, right, somebody trusted, maybe not in the same room, because I know how vulnerable that can be, but at least close by. You're obviously going to want to do it usually in a place you're comfortable with, like in your like at home or at a homie's house or something, like a trusted homie, not like, fucking Jimothy from down the block. But from there, just fucking meditate, you know what I mean? Like, take that time, really go introspective, like full on talk to yourself, let those emotions flow. Have something calming in the background for when you inevitably start like spinning at one point and you're like, it's too far, you want something you can focus on to like take your mind off it for a minute before you get back into trying to like figure yourself out. And don't use it as like your first action. Like, go to the doctor, go to a therapist, but like if you got like treatment resistant or major depressive and it feels like it's just not working a lot and you want to like make a plan to progress and you feel like you tried everything else, I think it's a good option in that situation. Um, but you don't want to do it too. You really want to space those out big. Multiple reasons. Obviously, you don't want to turn it into a recreational thing and have it become a problem, because even though they aren't chemically addictive, pretty much everything is mentally addictive with how humans process things. And second off, the issue with doing hallucinogens a lot is it starts to mess with your mind's perception of reality, because you're so used to it like changing from the typical rules. So if you just, if you're constantly doing it like fucking multiple times a week or even every week, it can lead to you having some issues with like perception. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to explain it, but it can definitely affect your brain in not the typical drug way, but in like not rebuilding, but resetting like pathways and shit. And it gets weird. Not as bad as like acid or anything, but it's still something you got to be careful about, and it's like everyone says they don't recommend drugs to people, but I don't even really recommend like the lighter stuff for the most part, right? Oh, speaking of which, this is a really sad brag to do, but I don't. But context, I don't really keep hard alcohol in the house because it's really hard for me to control myself. But I was able to, for like the first time in years, just enjoy like a glass of whiskey, just for like the taste in the moment, and that felt really good. It felt really good to be able to like break through the barrier of not just having to go like all nothing, but being able to enjoy it. Doesn't mean I'm going to keep things around, because that's just, there's no point to tempt fate. But it's nice that when that happens, I can do that now, This is a preachy-ass episode, I'm not going to lie. I would understand why people wouldn't like it. But speaking of preachy, let's talk about Preacher. So, Preacher, if you don't know, independent comic series about a dude with the voice of God. Why did I hear it as a power before? I don't know. Basically, the power to, like, command somebody, like, if he's like, forgive them, they will forgive, and all that shit, right? And there's a show that's based off an indie comic, right? But I've never read the comic, and I was like, oh, the show got added to Netflix, so let's check it out. Because my thought process is, you always watch a thing before you read the thing, because that way, if the thing you watched ends up to be a bad representation, you can still enjoy both, because you don't have or at least your first time watching. When you go back after you read it, it might be different, but that's when you don't go back and watch it, and you just enjoy the first time you watched it. But I'm really digging it. I think it's really, really good, really interesting. I do love application powers. I always say I love applications of powers, but it's really cool to see like the assassin with that ability. And it's not really used in media a whole lot, and I think it's cool. And I think I really, really like the side characters of it. I think having the like fucked up Deep South sound is such a cool thing for. I guess it's not technically horror, but like it's got that sort of like gothic vibe, and I think those sort of towns and such are, I shouldn't say underused, but I think they're, they are underused when it comes to like magic and demon shit, I feel like. Especially when you go like, extreme, but sort of realistic, fucked up shit that a lot of these characters have done and who they are. And he's really cool. There's the guy who caused a girl in the town to become like paralyzed, right? And then he tried to off himself, and like the guilt is crushing, and he has like a hole in his mouth from where he the shotgun, right? And for some reason, so I just got to the episode I just finished was they went to the paralyzed chick's house to apologize because Preacher is using his powers to slowly awake her from her like coma, right? And for some reason, I don't know. I just don't trust him. They never say what he's done. And I feel like it's really fucked up. And I know that finish the job was about the sewage slide. But I don't know. Something about him feels off. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm just some fucking asshole. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Feels like he will be, and the drug-addicted vampire is great. And then him getting, or at least like doing the relationship thing with fucking Penelope Tulip. That's her name. I knew it was a flower, I just couldn't remember what flower. Cool. I like the super Christian lady who is, I can't place where I've seen her before, but she looks like a sitcom mom. And then, like, even the antagonists are, like, they are fun for antagonists. Like, there's a dude, at first you think he's beating his wife, right? So, Preacher goes over there and beats his ass. Then it finds out that, the wife's just into, like, BDSM and shit. And it's not that he doesn't like her, it's just that that's what they're doing, and the kid didn't understand that it was a sex thing. But you later find out that he's actually, like, after you're like, oh, he's just a dickhead, he's not, like, a bad guy. You find out he actually is a bad guy. He's a Nazi working for, like, the evil CEO type character that is in the show before Preacher saves him. That's so fucking cool. Well, I mean, like, the switch is cool. It's like a minor twist, but I think it's really cool to do minor twists like that. I think it helps to keep the viewer on their toes. It's not cool that he's a Nazi. It's cool that how they did the storyline and how they had you find out he was a Nazi. So I saw the Marvel Rivals reset, and I saw a lot of people, like, getting upset, like, oh, how are we gonna climb? But, like, also skill issues, double the rank skins, get fucked. I realize some people climb to, like, see how good they are, but I climb to get the free skins. So you give me 2 free skins a season, like 2 extra free skins a season, I'm taking that shit 10 times out of 10, bro. Like, I don't know, just get to the rank. Alright, let's talk about God's gift to this earth that is known as liquidation stores. Now, if you've never been to this magical place, you absolutely should. It feels ethereal, because it's so much random shit that it's, like, impossible to find a vibe, right? It'll be, like, board games next to, like, 3D printed jewelry next to, like, a surprisingly nice pair of headphones, and just, like, a bunch of random shit. And while you don't necessarily have to buy anything from these magical places, right? It's just fun to walk around. I did get something this time. I got this random, like, off-brand controller that, for, like, PC and Switch and shit, but I have a controller adapter so I can use it on my Xbox. But this thing is so funny to me because, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but each of the buttons are actually a different, like, mouse click switch. Instead of them all having, like, a uniformed one, like, the fucking, like, the Octa, right? It has mouse click buttons, and it has, like, the 6 right here. It doesn't have mouse click triggers, but each of the switches are the same. This one, however, each of the switches feels different, and maybe they're not actually different, and they're just bizarrely made, but they all make, like, a different noise, I swear to God. And maybe I'm just dumb, but I think that's really funny, because I've never had a controller that does that. All of them have had, like, universal noise, so they're all using the same mouse switch. So I don't know why this one makes a bunch of different noises. But, it's chargeable, and I do like that it's mouse click, and the back buttons are nice. They're just, like, the right amount of pressure where you have to, like, actively press down on the back buttons for it to work, because there's the issue I have with even some of, like, the like, really high quality controllers is that the back buttons, right, like these things, is that they're way too easy to press. So, since, like, I'll have them mapped to a bunch of different things depending on, like, whatever the game I'm playing. If it's a shooter, they'll be like A and B, if it's, or like X and B or something. If it's a fighting game, it'll probably be like directions, that way I can dash without having to like double tap left or right on the stick, and so I'll have them mapped very differently, but sometimes I just don't use them. So then, like, when I just accidentally brush my fucking finger across them, and they're so delicate they immediately activate, and it fucks up what I'm doing, is very annoying. And I understand it's, like, kind of a skill issue, because I press buttons, I just hold things very aggressively, but I don't think that's just a me thing, and I feel like that's an issue most people would have with, back buttons and shit. So I know that's why some of my homies don't use controllers with back buttons, because they always get fucked up and accidentally press them. Well, I don't got much else to talk about, so like, comment, and subscribe, all that shit. It's been real, it's been fun, hasn't been real fun, fuck you.